Just it's still the same mindset as when I first got to college. I have a lot more to learn. New coaches are very helpful in that, just trying to get better every single day and improve on my game.
What was the whole cutting body fat? What was the whole process of that? What
I mean, it's nothing crazy. It's just watching what I'm eating a little more, especially when we're not training, like over spring break, just watching what I'm eating. So nothing crazy, just cutting down on some different things.
What's it been like to have a different defensive line coach pretty much every year you've been there?
It's been really interesting. I almost it kind of, not having the stability is kind of tough, but I mean, you just learn so many different things. You'll pick up something from this guy, and you'll pick up different things from T Knight. T Knight's been awesome so far. He's really loving him. He's very same way. You can go up there and you can talk to him about life, or you can talk to him about football, and it's really liking what he's doing and what our team's doing. It's been awesome.
Does his experience as a former NFL player, do you feel like you're able to kind of tap into that a little bit and learn from that aspect of it?
Oh yeah, definitely. No, I mean, being coached by a guy that's been in the position you want to be in and done it at a high level for a good amount of time is definitely very helpful.
D-line room, not a ton of experience. You got a couple of starts last year. What can you bring? What's your
I'm going to try and bring the same thing I did last year and just elevate it. That's the same with T-Rob, Wynn, Ruquan Buckley, all those guys that were here last year. We're just trying to get those younger guys up to speed and get them going as fast as we can. It's been really fun.
Is it different for you to be in the role of sort of a veteran now, where you're helping these guys come along that are transferred in or joining the program that you're?
Yeah, no, it's definitely been a change. Me and some of the other guys in my class talked about it, how it's just weird being like that guy now, the older guy in the room, and it's something that we're all embracing, and we're taking the full opportunity of it and just trying to do our best to get those young guys going.
Is that natural for you?
Yeah, no, it definitely. I wouldn't say it's natural, but it's something that I've been working on, and it's something that's gotten a lot better for me.
Elijah Judy's a new guy you added. How is he blended in as a transfer to the D-line room?
Good. Judy, like I said, just all the new guys in the D-line room I really like being around, and just trying to get them up to our standard as a team and up to make sure they're doing everything the right way has been fun, and just looking forward to keep learning how they play and how to play with them and everything.
Last question. Anyone else? Thank you, guys. Thank you.
All right, go ahead, guys.
So you get after pickleball, huh?
Yeah.
Good?
No, Coach. We played Coach Rule yesterday. There was probably about 30 people tried to team up and beat him, and Jarrett Wishon, and he was about 30-0. He beat the brakes off of us. So we're all chasing Coach Rule in the pickleball world.
I know last week on the radio you said you wanted to throw a lot at these guys and see what they could handle. How's it gone a few days in and that process, I guess?
We did throw a lot at them, so we accomplished that. The ebb and flows of practice is pretty consistent with what it usually is over the last couple of years that we've been doing this. Is a lot of guys are grinding at it. We've practiced more than we've met since spring break, and so they left for a week after we installed a lot of the stuff before spring break, and we're on their own. Then they came back and we went right into practicing. So, I would say they're above average from a retention standpoint. It's just now, it's one thing to retain it; it's another thing to go execute it consistently.
How many people have asked you what the offense is going to be like, just walking around, and even your players? Like, how often do you get that question, and what do you tell them?
Not a lot from the players, because they can kind of watch the stuff that we've done in the past and see. Everybody wants to know what it looks like, and in our brain, you kind of know what you want it to look like, but it's always going to be, you're always going to go to the side of what you have from a personnel standpoint. The one consistent thing that we can guarantee is we're going to try to play clean football, protect the football. People talk about balanced offense. It's not, throw it 50%, run it 50%. It's just there's going to be times in the game we need to run the ball, and we've got to be able to do that at a high level. And there's going to be times in the game where we need to throw the ball, and we need to do that at a high level. So everything we do daily is just trying to inch closer to those goals.
It's still the first week, but what are some of your early impressions of how things are going for y'all?
I love this team. I love offense, defense, not just the offense, but just from the off season to competition week to first couple days of spring practice. These guys compete. They like to play football. They like each other, like being around each other, like competing against each other. So I'm real excited about where I think, I'm not coming out of 3 days thinking, oh crap, this is what I thought it was going to be. It's even higher than I thought it would possibly be from just, I mean, what we have a chance to do here.
What kind of personnel do you feel like you have at this point? Like, where do you feel like you're strong based on what you have in the games?
After 3 days, I don't want to say something, and then after week 10 or whatever you say, well, you said after the third day of practice, but I'm really excited. The core group of our offensive line is working well. I mean, Coach Raiola does an unbelievable job with those guys. They're a very tight-knit group. We have a lot of tight ends with a lot of different bodies that can do a lot of, really cool things. And, that's the hardest position on the field. So when we talk about throwing a lot at guys, they have like double of everything because they have to pass protect, they have to, run block, they have to go run routes. So they're the ones that are having to really go extra in the classroom to make sure that they're ready to go at practice. Running backs, been productive thus far, had a good day today. And then the quarterbacks, we have 5 quarterbacks that have started games in college. So, just they're competing every day, just trying to make sure that, Coach Rule is different than any coach I've ever worked for. He wants every single human to get as many reps as they possibly can. He's not one of those guys that's just going to be the good players get reps. Everybody's getting reps, so that's a blessing for us with as many quarterbacks as we have because they're getting a lot of reps and getting a lot of, not only just mental reps but physical reps.
Could you say who's getting the most reps at quarterback with the ones right now?
I promise you they're as balanced as possible because, we went into it trying to, see what every one of them can do. And, we do the way that we do our team periods, it's split up where basically they're alternating every certain amount of plays. So they're not all equal, but they're all within probably 10 plays of each other.
You've got some veteran guys who are new to the program like Billy and, of course, Jeff. How have those guys, what's the learning curve like for them in comparison to, guys who have been together for a few years?
Billy and Jeff are both unique because they've played a ton of football. Billy's a very high he loves football. He's super hyper competitive, and he wants the ball. And he caught a lot of balls. When he was at Virginia, he's a very very smart kid, very very high football IQ kid. So things are coming pretty natural to him. Jeff's the same way. Jeff's, he's played for some really good coaches, some really good coordinators in the last couple of years, some really good quarterback coaches. So he already has kind of a process of learning. So this is not really, it's new to him, and he's got to go get, the reps so he can be successful at it. But it's not overwhelming. I think it's been not an easy transition, but not a very hard one for him.
Mark, what makes Billy so versatile? What does he do really well?
Well, he's really, really tough, and he's, knock on wood, very, very tough, durable, and he can do, many things for you. He is small in stature, but, he can play inside, he can play outside. He can go in the backfield, do things out of the backfield at times. So, he's shown at his time at Virginia and then shown, just short amount of time here that he's able to do, a bunch of different things for this offense.
You guys have had a lot of changes just in the 3 months you've been here at the tight end spot. Position changes, transfers, guys who've left, guys who are new. What's your vision for that position with the players you have out there right now?
Well, we have the body types. It's what we've always, what I've always wanted to have on an offense. I've never had this many tight ends, but I mean, we want to be in 13 personnel at times. Where you have a tight end that's maybe a bigger guy that puts his hand down and he's blocking the CD gap, and you have another tight end that might be a little bit shorter that's playing more of the fullback type. And then you have another tight end that might be just a little bit undersized and he's playing in the slot, but they're all tight ends and they're all having to be counted as tight ends. So as many as we can get out there at once is awesome for me. I think we're going to have a chance to have really good depth at that position.
Coach Will mentioned Janarin Bonner as a guy who's getting work there in the chess piece. What does that mean for you?
He's just super athletic, and he's the number one thing is he had to accept the role, and he's done. He's not flinched, and he's gotten better and better and better. Just we were out in pads today, so the first thing you want to see is will he put his face in there, and he did all day today. So with his explosiveness and continuing to shape his body the right way to get to where he can play that position, I think that he will be a really good piece for us. Being able to use him again, another guy. We talked about it earlier on. We're a positionless offense. Like our tight ends can play running backs, our running backs can go play receiver, our receivers can go play tight end, our quarterbacks can go play receiver. We're gonna whatever you do, we're gonna line you up everywhere. And so it's good to have him as another piece that can go in the backfield as well.
What are you specifically looking for from Sims these first 5 practices, first part of spring?
Take care of the football. I mean, I know what he's got from a physicality standpoint. He's got really good arm talent. I want to see him be accurate, and I want to see him take care of the football. We told everybody, from anyone who touches the football, if you don't take care of the football, you will not play. And so, at every position, especially quarterback, you got to show that you're going to be responsible with the ball in your hands and make sure that we have it after, every whistle blows.
Do you feel like you're going to be able to do more of what you wanted to do here than you were able to do at the previous stop?
I don't know. I mean, I would love, I guess, in the press conferences to make everybody feel good. Yeah, that'd be great. I don't know yet. I mean, after 3 practices, I've, again, never had this many big human beings before, large human beings, especially this many tight ends and fullback types and stuff. So, we're gonna strive to be what we're come into this world to be, which is physical and tough and run the football and, take care of the football and keep the defense off the field. And that's what we're striving to do.
Do you feel like the way that you think about the game is a good fit for the Big Ten?
I think so. Yeah, I mean, I've never been in the Big Ten, but growing up, if you said, what is the Big Ten, I would have thought it would be a lot how I think, And it's not just ground and pound, because with every ground and pound is a play action shot of 70 yards. So I think that's kind of how we're built, and, we're going to strive to go in that direction. But, again, whatever personnel we have is what's going to show up on the field on Saturdays.
Who are a few of those fullback types?
I'm not. I learned a long time ago, don't say a name because you'll forget one. And after 3 practices, we'll talk about that after spring.
How have you seen Ben Scott, fit in as a veteran guy, be the command center on that O-line?
Well, I, obviously wasn't here last year, and Ben came in the same time that I came in, and so literally you're at practice, you would have thought Ben had been the starter here for the last 3 seasons. And again, I think that's Coach Raiola and how he does his room and how he teaches, and they're a brotherhood in that room, and they take care of each other, and they're a very tight-knit group. So he's stepped right in, and I mean, it's just a natural fit, I believe.
Marcus, what'd you see from Eric Gilbert? Just initial reaction.
Freak, man. He's super gifted, really good, very, very, very good kid, really gifted. Flashes at times when he does things. It's mind-boggling to be that big and be able to move your body like he does. So really excited where he's going off the field and on the field.
So speaking with size, do you care to mention how big he came into camp?
I mean, he's somewhere around 270, 280 right now.
And speed still?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's good.
What does he need to kind of stay on the right track in terms of his development?
Just maintain the focus on and off the field, coming in, studying like he's been doing, learning the offense, and just putting him in situations where he can be successful. I think it's as much on us as coaches as it is on him. The easy things to say, well, he needs to do this to be successful, is what do we need to do for him to allow him to be successful.
One more guy. Recruiting weekend for you guys. Obviously, you can't mention games or anything like that, but what are you guys trying to accomplish for a big weekend like that?
We're trying to show guys, what it's like to be a Cornhusker, and you're going to come and get coached. You're going to be respected, and you're going to get coached hard, and you're going to get developed into pro players if that's ultimately what you were destined to do. And you're going to be developed into great men, great husbands, great doctors, great lawyers if that's what you're destined to do. We're going to do it the right way. We got a special place. We have a special fan base. We have unbelievable facilities, and it's an unbelievable opportunity and an unbelievable conference to do. You can accomplish any dream that you have if you come play here.
Let's say you're sitting in front of a quarterback and you want to turn on an NFL film and say, this is the guy that I kind of envision an ideal quarterback being in college. Who's the NFL quarterback you turn on?
I mean, I like all of them. I mean, I'm not putting pressure. I love watching Brock Purdy play. I think he's fun as heck to watch, not just because Chubb is here, but, seeing him when we were at Baylor and Iowa State is fun to watch. You put me on the spot there. Dak Prescott, I love Dak Prescott. Obviously, you like Mahomes, you like all those guys. But, again, I tell our guys, I'll put my dog out there to play quarterback if he takes care of the ball and helps us win games. So we don't care what shape, size it looks like. We just want him to take care of the football and be a winner.
What's the dog's name?
I have 3 of them.
All right.
Coach Satterfield is one of them. And I have Winnie and Annabella. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Coach. Thanks, Mark.
Always ask what the dog's name is.
You want me to answer any kind of Instagram stuff I see on this? No? Okay, gotcha.
I know it's early, first week, but what are your early impressions of how things are going for your guys?
Things are going well. It's all about the enthusiasm and the energy of those guys, the willingness to learn and to adapt to the change that's happening. Not only X's and O's wise, but just an overall mentality. And those young men have been running around doing all the things that's been asked. So it's been good so far.
Coach Rule had mentioned he's kind of adjusting to you, you're adjusting to him. Have you noticed any of those adjustments? What have they been?
I wouldn't say adjustments. You know, I'm really, again, I keep saying this, but it's because it's the truth. I'm really fortunate. I'm really lucky to be here at Nebraska. I'm really fortunate to be around Coach Rule. You know, it's being around him. It's you understand why the success is there. You know, and I'm constantly taking notes and trying to absorb as much as I can, and get things right. So that way we can be good, but also so that I can learn to be a better coach. So I don't know about him adjusting to me. I'm adjusting to him all the way. Yeah.
How much of the spring is spent trying to figure out where maybe certain guys fit position-wise, and then you kind of want them to settle? Is there a point in the spring where you want them to settle at a certain spot if you're kind of cross-training or looking at guys in hybrid roles?
Yeah, I mean that's the daily evaluation of the staff. You know, we've already moved a lot of guys around, and the really neat deal about this practice and the practice style is that you're seeing a lot of guys take reps. You know, so it's really neat. You know, but there's always a constant battle now between the X's and O's side of moving guys around. Let's see him do this. Let's see him do, and making sure that the mentality is right. You know, and right now, being the first day in pads and all that stuff, I think that's the most important thing, is establishing how we are going to play. You know, X and O's, they will take care of themselves, film study, they getting stuff on the grass, all that stuff, but the mentality is the most important thing right now, and that's the thing we got to work on.
Any of those moves that you've made look especially intriguing to you, just 3 days in, something that excites you?
Yeah, I mean, I think to highlight some guys, Malcolm Hartzog is really standing out. He's versatile. I mean, he's a really good football player. Smart, movement skills, instincts. Really like what he does in all the spots back there. So another surprise is John Bullock. I think moving him down was a really good move. He, you know, first day in pads, and I mean, I don't know how many times I said John out there. He was lighting things up, moving around. So it's. Those would, I would say, be the first two guys. I mean, we've moved some other guys around and at all three levels, so I got to go back and watch. But those are the two guys that you say, somebody move positions. Who are the first two? Those two guys.
Where'd John move from?
Backer. We moved him down to backer. I know he was moving. He was a DB. We're moving safety, you know, all the rovers, all that stuff, and then we moved him to backer to see what he was doing, and then he's moving around. Today he was at backer and he was moving around well.
How about Hartzog? How are you moving him around?
He was moving around between corner, safety, outside, inside, all that kind of stuff, nickel, all that stuff. So, and he's done a nice job there. Yeah.
Did Malcolm's film kind of from last year pop out to you before you even got on the field?
Yeah, you can tell he had that little it factor in him. So seeing him live, seeing him in off season move around, you're like, okay. But then it was his attention to detail. It's his. You know, you always say good football players, they're really low maintenance. That means they get it, they understand, they know where they got to be, they know what they got to do, they understand their process, you know, of how they're good, how to be good, and he's just like that. So it's good to see him run around and make plays.
Do you label that 50B as a nickel in your system? Do you call him a rover? Is there any difference at all between those two spots?
Yeah, the rover is more the middle, like the hybrid kind of linebacker DB, and those two outside guys. You know, those guys interchange between being a nickel and being a free, being a strong, all that kind of stuff. So
who do you like as a rover? Do you identify people yet?
No, we've been moving guys around. I mean, obviously Giff, he's doing a nice job in there learning what to do. He's got some savvy to him. He's making plays. Miles Farmers has gone in there some, and he's another athlete that, you know, we got to do a good job of making sure he knows what to do and how to do it. Gage is, I mean, he was the turnover king the other day, had a couple of interceptions in the red zone. So we got a lot of guys moving around in there right now. So
where does, I know he's in a green jersey, but Javen Wright,
yeah.
Where does he fit in your system?
Right now, same. I mean, he's in that rover category just because of his skill set. I remember him out of high school. Big, can move around, good movement skills, length, and all that stuff. So it's just hard to get an eval, especially the longer we go, more pads we get, you know, on that. But he is doing individuals and moving around, so we'll see.
What have been your early impressions of Nash Shotmaker, and what can you see him bring to the D line?
Yeah, you know, he's savvy. He's really savvy. You can tell he's He's calm. First of all, the best thing about it is he's done a really nice job of making sure his weight is down. You know, he's doing the things he needs to do to make sure that he knows he's going to play and play a lot. You know, so that's the first thing. And the second thing is he's smart. He's absorbed a lot of the defense. And again, when you get him in there and you see him, you always notice him around the ball. So those are good things. Yeah.
Hey, Tony, you have 3 coaches here that were with you at Syracuse as well. How much has that made it easier to kind of transition this process?
Always easier. You know, but the great thing about it is that, you know, it is truly like a mesh of ideas. You know, it's just, you know, they call it one thing, we call it one thing. Now we bring it together. This is how we are going to call it here. You know, and so it's been really neat meshing everything together and getting the guys in the spots and letting them go. Yeah.
Heard a lot of
How long is that going to take, that verbiage, to get everybody on the same page, using the same language?
It never stops. I like to say it's organic. I mean, even from my years at my first year at Syracuse and the last year, we were constantly changing things, calling things different, you know, trying to cut out extra vocab. My biggest deal is making sure those young men, when they run out there, they are not thinking. They play. So, you know, we always self-review and make sure that we're not trying to tell them too much in between stuff and try to control them like robots, you know. So it's always changing. It's always changing.
Coaching staff was using the word intentional a lot today in between drills, even for stretching. What exactly does that word mean?
We want to know what we're doing. You know, we want to know what we're doing and why you're doing it, and that's in everything. You know, when you're herding that big of a group around, sometimes, you know, guys go to drill, they just run through the drill and they just do it. Really big on making sure we do things deliberate. You know, they know why they're doing it, how it applies to them on the grass, and how it's going to benefit them on the grass. So the more they hear that verbiage, the more they understand it, the more they see it on tape, I think then you turn it from thinking about it to instinct, and when you get a guy going off instincts, they play better.
A few weeks ago, Coach Rule mentioned you got a lot of defensive backs. How have you seen those guys feed off the competition? Maybe some of those guys you've even switched around to different spots, but how do you see that sort of playing out with so many bodies there?
Oh, no, again, that's why the practices are designed the way they are. You know, that we need to see everybody. That's what spring is for, right? We want to develop everybody, not only with the scheme, but to see who's going to absorb it, who's going to perform on the grass. So coach is putting them in a lot of different situations, a lot of different drills, a lot of, if you guys saw chaos, it's a lot of moving parts, a lot of chaos out there, but you got to think. You got to be able to hone that in. You got to be able to control your thoughts, and you got to be able to perform. So we're getting as many guys ready, getting as many guys reps, and seeing what they can do.
I know it's early to get too specific on some guys, but like Elijah Judy, there's a lot of intrigue in him as the guy from, you know, A&M.
Yeah.
What has he shown you, or what do you see as
There's a reason why he was at A&M. You know, he's a big guy. He's got some movement skills, twitchy. So he's just maturing in the process right now. You know, again, it's day one in pads. You know, so we'll get a chance to go back through and see, but I'm not necessarily judging the guys so much on the X's and O's. It's the process, right? It is the way we are going to do things. That's the most important thing that I can say right now is there's a way we're going to play football, especially on defense. There's a way that we want our mindsets to be, and you are going to be that way. And today was the first day that we got a chance. I know you guys heard, you know, dominant contact. You heard intentional. That is the most important thing for everyone, us included as coaches, is that we make sure that mindset is right first, because then the X's and O's will take care of itself.
Back to the DBs for a second. That's a long and lean group. How explosive is that position group?
Very. That's one of the things I noticed right when I first got here was you got a lot of guys who are big, long, fast, athletic. So now it's making sure, again, they buy into what we're asking them to do, and then the X's and O's will come. But it's really neat that when they don't know what to do, you see a little bit more of the instinct comes out. Hey, like, you know, I blew a call, but I'm out here, the ball is snapped, let's go, let's see what you got. And it's cool that some of those guys are making plays. I mean, Omar Brown, again, the other day, I mean, he blew a coverage. He completely blew a coverage, but he saw where the ball was, ran to the ball, undercut a receiver, interception, you know. So it's neat to see those kind of things happen.
You kind of inherited a defensive back process that has like literally 3 or 4 guys that are 6'4" and taller. Like when you have guys in that frame, where does your mind go as to how you might be able to use them?
Yeah, I mean, Yeah, I mean, again, it's all of what they do. You know, you throw them in different situations. You put them on the grass and see what they do, and then you say, okay, their skill set is like this, their best use like this, and then you move them around. Like I said, I mean, Malcolm, Miles, Braxton Clark. I mean, those guys, just off the top of my head, are guys that we've already moved around multiple times to see what they can do and all that kind of stuff. I mean, Coach Cooper's doing a nice job every day of seeing and discussing, like, hey, let's move this guy here, let's see this guy here, let's do this here, and giving them a chance to display their skill set.
Do you think Malcolm could be something other than the corner that he's been for the first 2 years?
He is. I'll just say he's a good football player. So it wouldn't surprise me that he's all over the place. Yeah.
Anything else? All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tony. Thank you. Other questions for Billy Kemp?
Billy, you're a veteran. You played a lot of college football. What's been the biggest adjustment to high football in Nebraska?
You know, football's kind of football. Everybody's new here, coming in with a new staff, and you know, my teammates have been real welcoming. You know, it's been great just working with them. So it's nothing too new. You know, just learning the new offense with the coaches, and you know, just learning everything.
How different is the experience of just like you played at Virginia for so long, and now you're on a different team? Like getting used to the different people, the verbiage, all of that. How's that experience been for you?
Yes, sir. You know, it was very different. You know, just being a change, but you know, God has blessed me with this opportunity to be here. So, you know, I just send my faith to Him, and you know, thank Him for every opportunity, and you know, just attack every day with Him on my side. You know, we have a good receiver room. We have Josh Fleeks, you know, a returner, Marcus Washington. You know, he's definitely been helping me throughout the process, along with Coach McGuire. You know, he's very smart and, you know, just helping everybody in the receiver room learn through the new offense.
What do you think about Coach McGuire, how he runs a practice, the energy he brings?
I loves it. You know, like I said, he's very knowledgeable. He has different ways of bringing excitement to practice and to drills and getting everybody involved. So, you know, it's been a blast just out there working with the guys.
Early impressions of Jeff Sims, obviously you were familiar with him when he was at Georgia Tech.
Yes, sir. Jeff's looking good, you know, working with Sat and the other quarterbacks. I think all the quarterbacks are working and looking good, you know, just learning the offense. So I love to see all the quarterbacks keep competing. I just look forward to earning any role I can and helping the team any way I can, whether it's on special teams, offense, you know, just any role that the team needs, I'll be there to fill.
Can you describe your strength, your game?
You know, I feel like I'm an explosive player that catches everything, so, you know, I like to add that to the offense.
Punt returning is something that you did for 4 years at Virginia. I mean, how much punt returning have you been able to do these first 3 practices?
You know, we've been working on special teams every day these first 3 practices. So we have 5 returners back there, and we've all been working and competing at the position. So it's been great working at punt return.
Who else is doing that with you?
Isaiah and Elliott Brown. It's a few more guys. Tommy Hill, a few more guys back there.
It's a long way from Charlotte.
Yes, sir.
How's Lincoln treating you?
Lincoln's treating me great. You know, it was definitely an adjustment, but with the help of my coaches and my teammates, you know, everything has been smooth coming in. So I've enjoyed my time so far.
What's something you can learn about your teammates, your coaches from practice that you maybe couldn't have the previous time?
Can you repeat the question?
Just something you learn about your teammates and your coaches from practice now that you guys have started doing.
Yeah, just you know, we use hard work as a connector. So you know, doing hard things and failing at them ultimately builds confidence. So you know, just doing that and attacking every drill that we have has been something I've enjoyed attacking with my teammates so far.
Have things looked how you sort of envisioned when you decided to come to Nebraska back in January? Has it largely been what you expected it would be?
I think it's bigger than what I expected, but it's not overwhelming. So, you know, I've enjoyed everything that has come with it.
Describe Matt Rule. What's his style like as a head coach, just from being around him now for the whole winter?
He's a great coach, you know. He really just tells us what the standard is, and it's up to us, the players, to enforce the standard throughout the team. And I think that's a great way to have the leaders of the team step up, and that's ultimately what a team needs, is for the team to ultimately run the team.
I guess what's the big goal for the spring for you? What would make a successful spring camp?
Getting 1% better every day, just finding one thing to focus on and get better at that coming into every day.
Thank you.
Thank you. good.
Well, for questions from the group? Quentin, how the practices been?
The practices, they've been competitive. We just got back in pads today, so, more physical today, more, attention to detail as we get more into depth in practices.
What's it been like working with, you worked with Coach Fitch for 4 years, so what's it been like working with a new position coach after that time?
It's new. It's a lot of just different things, and you got to take the coaching, and I'm excited just to learn new things and just add on to stuff that I know, and just accept everything that the coaches are trying to tell me.
How's this defense, do you think, might be different from what you've run in the past?
I would say it's more like flying around to the ball and just more freely instead of just knowing your assignment. You got to get to the ball as well. It's just different.
You've been climbing every year in this program. What's sort of your personal, goals you sort of set forth on this season?
My personal goal is to just dominate the Big Ten and be one of the best corners in college football this year, and make sure that I bring along the new people and the young guys with me, and just make sure that they're looking up to the right person.
There are a lot of defensive backs. How have you seen some of those guys kind of make the most of the reps that they're getting and kind of come into their own?
I would say so. Everybody, is starting off on the same foot right now. Everybody is treated equally, and a lot of guys are taking advantage of their reps. Like Omar Brown, he's taking advantage of his reps. He looks really good in spring right now. It's a lot of guys. I can keep going down the list, but I feel like everybody is taking advantage of their reps they're getting right now because they know that, we got a new coaching staff, and it doesn't matter what you did last year. It doesn't matter what you did before. So it's a whole new page.
Is there a specific area of your game that you tried to improve on in the offseason?
Getting stronger. Getting stronger, getting faster, and working on my off man.
How has the new weight training staff helped with that?
I would say they're great. Coach Campbell and the guys, they really push us to make us uncomfortable in certain situations, just to see how we're gonna react, and just pushing us to our limits, and just trying to make us faster and stronger, and also mentally strong. So those guys are doing a great job.
What have you picked up about Coach Cooper's style?
I picked up. So he's a very exciting guy, and this defense, it's more of off man than press man. So he's been helping me a lot with my off man, and he's also been helping me with my press man, and just giving me tips to stay aggressive, be aggressive. Everybody watching, so he just keeps telling me that you got to dominate. You're trying to compete with everybody in the country right now. So.
Have you had film sessions? I'm sure you have had some, but have you had much as far as film sessions with him yet?
Oh yeah. We watch a lot of film together. We try to get all the guys in together. We got class and stuff going on, so guys be coming in all throughout the day, and just making sure that they know anything they messed up on maybe the day before or something like that. Just getting the mistakes fixed.
They say Coach Will talks a lot about how that's kind of Coop's specialty is watching film, breaking down film. What's that like as a player to go over it with him? Anything stand out to you?
Yeah, it's great. Just the attention to detail. Just watching guys' techniques. He talks about J.C. Horn a lot. We watch a lot of his film, so just picking up things off of him, and it's very exciting.
How's the emphasis on takeaways showed up so far?
A lot on takeaways, and just whether it's an interception or just punching at the ball, just trying to force takeaways during practice, it's a very important thing for us.
This is a portal era where guys come and go from schools. How important was it for you to kind of finish what you started here in Nebraska?
It was very important, just because I know a lot of these guys they're like family to me right now. So it's just like a brotherhood, and a lot of these guys I've been playing with for a long time, and some of them are even new. But it's just it's just a family. Just wanting to stick it out with these guys, and fight the battle that we've been fighting.
Was it tough in December for a veteran guy like you, though? As you're kind of lay of the land, figuring out the new stuff. Did you have to think about some things there? Or?
Yeah, I would say it was tough. Always, just getting a new coaching staff. I think it's probably harder being an older guy just because, you know, you used to the old coaching staff and how things used to go. But, you know, me and Coach Rule have we've grown closer over the spring and, over the winter training. And, you know, I think everybody's on board.
Hey, Quentin, you're not wearing number 6 anymore. We noticed there's no single-digit numbers. Kind of what went all about with that decision to take away the single-digit jerseys from the guys?
Basically, you know, the coaches, you know, everybody's starting off new, and they were like, basically everybody has to earn the single digit. Whoever they think are the guys who deserve it will get the single digit numbers.
So you want 6 back if you can get it back?
Yeah, I want my 6 back for sure.
Is that the toughest guys, Quentin, or what do you have to do to get that back?
I honestly don't know like specifically, but I would say the toughest guys from mat drills and stuff we were doing to now to spring ball, just seeing who the competitors are and the people who really deserve it.
Coach White was impressed with Malcolm Hartzog early on. What have you seen out of that guy since he joined the program last year, and just the way he's earned his, you know, sort of a good reputation here?
I would say just, you know, he one of those guys who just always goes hard. He don't ask too many questions. If you tell him to do it, he gonna do it. And he just, you know, he like a sponge. He soak everything up, and he just one of those guys who wants it. He a dog in my book, and he a competitor.
What about you? You mentioned Omar Brown specifically. What have you seen in that picture? What has stood out to you in that for Omar Brown?
Omar has always been a good player since he got here. I feel like he's just more bought into what's going on right now. He's really showing his skills during spring with the takeaways, knowing the playbook, just certain things. He really stepped his game up.
Is there kind of like a rover in this defense, like another safety? Is that what we're calling that?
Yeah.
What has that been like to kind of work with? You're probably not that guy. You're probably a corner, but what's that addition to the defense been?
It's been good. It's been different. Just, you know, having 3 safeties is just it's just different. I would say it's just like different ways you could tweak the defense. You can do this, you can do that, and it's just very exciting to different ways you could do stuff.
Does that change anything about what you do as a corner?
Nah, not necessarily. Not really.
Anything else for Kim? Yes.
Appreciate it, y'all.
Thank you, Quentin.
Is that orange?
Oh, no, this protein shake.
Smells like